Good afternoon, guys. I just wanted to make this video for the students who have presently enrolled in for the classes with me. So, how to answer a question was the main concern during today's class. So, I wanted to actually acknowledge their question and start with the thing which actually is required for answering any question in the world. So, whenever we are answering any question, we have to see that how intense the question is, and depending upon that, we have to go for the journal starters. Like whenever we are answering any of the question, we need to go for a starter so that we'll have a second thought that whatever I'm going to speak would be right or wrong. Okay. Then the first of them is well to be honest. We use well to be honest only when we are actually trying to get some time to think about it. Like you want to give your answer honestly and clearly, or something which is not mysterious, or something which is quite obvious, like to other person also. Then you will use that kind of connector. And thereafter, there is another connector that you can use, or starter that you can use, or adverbial phrase we can say it, you can use in the beginning. Is the actually that's an interesting question, and that is possible only when the question is really interesting. And if the question is very simple and somebody is asking you about your do you like eating fish, or do you like eating this or that, then it won't be like something that interesting. So it's not like that. If somebody is asking you that, do you think that the children should be given the opportunity to use a mobile phone at the school? So it's an interesting question. So thereafter, you have to be curious about it and what you actually have to put in an answer. So that's why to start your answer, you can use these, like well to be honest, that's an interesting question. I would say that it's simply to start. I would say that like that. We need to start it with this. In my opinion, if somebody is asking your opinion, this is particularly to be used when somebody is asking your opinion in reality. Like somebody is asking that what is accordingly your perspective should be done in case of the usage of the mobile phone for the kids in the school. So, or even what should we do, what should the school or the government should do to bring moral values in the kids. So then your opinion is really important in that one, because obviously you are being asked a question which is actually a general public's question. So definitely your opinion matters to the person who has asked you the question. Then thereafter, there is another connector that you can, or the starter that you can use. If I think about it carefully, then I would say something like that. You can add more and more connectors in the beginning to actually begin with the kind of process that you really want to answer with. So then obviously this is the kind of thing that you can use for starting your question's answer whatsoever is the question, and you are answering the question with all these starters if you really want to make that emphatic for other person to listen to, because these phrases give you some time. Paraphrasing is also important. As I told you, that paraphrasing is also important. You need not to use the same kind of wording as given in the question. So that is actually when you're giving your direct answer. It's not like the sameness has to be there, like whatsoever is asked and you're repeating the same thing. No need to repeat that same thing. You can paraphrase it in your simple language. So these phrases, these starters actually give you some time to prepare for your thoughts before actually jumping into the real answer that you're gonna give. Okay, so definitely they are really, really helpful. So I would recommend that you should use these. Second thing is you should go for some like if you're giving a personal experience starters or personal giving starters in the beginning of your answer, then obviously it has to be your personal experience. So then definitely what you can do is from my personal experience, from my own experience. Okay, as far as my experience is concerned, you can vary it differently. Depends upon like accordingly your experience, accordingly what you value, or accordingly what you have seen in your life. What do you think that has to be the starter? That's up to you. That's up to you. I remember. That means you're going to the past and you're thinking and bringing out something from the vault. Okay. And bringing some answer from it. Like I remember when I was a kid, I was actually being thrashed by some of the friends. Actually, it was a kind of act of bullying, but still I did not understand at the time. But when I remember that now I know that what actually the bullying is. If somebody has asked you that what bullying is, I remember when I was just a kid and I was being thrashed by the kids and was being made some kind of derisive remarks, but I could not reply to them. But I even myself laughed at them, those remarks. But later on, I realized that those remarks were actually the bullying remarks. So that's how you have to go about it. Like in my case, in my opinion, it's a kind of, in my case, if my personal experience is being asked for, then what should I say? So that is for actually the IELTS students also, and also for the people who are interested to give the answer on their own from their personal experience. It's not for only for the IELTS. So it is perfect for the IELTS students, but it is also applicable to anyone around the world. Okay, so that's how it is. Then thereafter, why it is important? Because it makes your answer personalized. which actually the other person really loves, like whomsoever believes or takes your examination, whomsoever believes in your opinion, or what your accordingly them your opinion is really important for them, it would really mean. Then thereafter we have the opinion. Like when you're giving your opinion, I strongly believe that when you're using the word like these adverb words before speaking any answer, I strongly believe that, I partially agree to that, I something like that. Opinion, you're giving your opinion. In my view, as far as my point of view is concerned, as far as my mind goes, or as far as I am concerned, something like that. For I am concerned, I have made a short also. You will be able to understand what exactly concern means. Okay, if I am interested in that, so that's also the way to go for it. So you can start your opinion. It is not in every question you can put all of these connectors. You can use any of them accordingly the choice. Like I'm giving you the headings for that same, like opinion or the discussion starters. If there is any kind of discussion going on and somebody's asking your opinion about it, and then you want to give your opinion and you want to give your belief about the belief system. There you want to go and check out in your belief system whether you have something for that or not. And especially for the ELT students, it is for the part third that you can start your answer with these kind of starters. Okay, particularly. Now next go for the storytelling starters. In case of the cue card part, or where you're telling the story, then you can actually start with that only. Once I had a situation where once I had a situation where I had to pick and choose from the marketplace, that I didn't have that much of the time to bring the thing, but I chose something else over that just because I got some time. So I had a situation where, so I tried to put some kind of time before. There was a situation when then you're gonna answer your questions fluently. Earlier you took some time by just adding these 2 or 3 words so that you may get plenty of time to actually think of the next idea. So that's also very important. And a cue card is that particular portion where you have to speak for 2 minutes continuously. And if you are able to do that, then that's well and good. And thereafter, let me share a quick example. When you're giving your to provide you an illustration, to give you an example, as far as my personal experience is concerned, I have an example to share with you, something like that. You can go for that. And then for buying some time, like you want to get some time for answering the question. All of these are the same, but somehow, but when you don't have any answer for a question, let me tell you, when you don't have any answer for that, you need some time to think. In that scenario, that these 3 of the phrases, or what we can say, that combination of the words are really important. Let me tell you, that's a tough one. Let me think for a second. That's a tough one. Let me think for a second. And then you're gonna start your answer. Let me think for a second. Yeah. What I would say is this or that, or like whichever the question is, accordingly that you need to go for it. And then thereafter, well, I haven't thought about that before, but I guess it is the one that you are trying to actually make the question applicable to everybody else. So when you say that I haven't thought about it, about that before, but if I guess that if I would be in the same situation, then I would definitely go for this. Okay, you had not been in the same situation, but in this scenario you're trying to say that well, I haven't thought about that before, but I guess it depends. Now the next one, it depends, but generally speaking, it depends, but generally speaking, it's like that in a kind of expressive way. If I would have to say, then you need to say it depends, but generally speaking. So we have 3 of them for buying time. That's a tough one. Let me think for a moment. Let me think for a second. Let me think over it a little bit. So something like that. Well, I haven't thought about that before, but I guess yeah, this option is better. Okay, it depends, but generally speaking, if I have to say the people's opinion, then this is the situation. Now definitely all of these are going to help you out in framing your answer. Then this is just the beginning. Let me tell you, this is just the beginning, and thereafter you have to go to the next section that you are giving your answer for, and that is the golden structure. Let me tell you, 3 steps golden structure, very easy to apply. Let me tell you what is that in this particular portion. Direct answer. Your answer has to be direct, very short and clear, but have to be paraphrased. You see, response to the question immediately, like, do you like reading books? Yes, absolutely. Not only yes or no, but along with that, the person has used the adverb. Absolutely, without a speck of doubt, or undoubtedly. Okay. If I would have to say that, like, I love reading books, so I really enjoy reading books. He hasn't said the same stuff. He hasn't used the same answer. Like, he hasn't used the same wording. Like, instead of like, the person actually used enjoy. I really enjoy. And even not only enjoy, like, one thing is to say that I enjoy reading books. It's a very common thing. But when you say I really enjoy reading books, the expression adds a flavor to the answer, and the person thinks that, yeah, there is some intensity in enjoying the reading. So when we are adding intensifiers to the words such as adjective or something like that, then definitely it adds flavor to your answer. So that is why the second thing that you need to keep in mind is like use the adverbial in the beginning, and then thereafter think of, first of all, think of what tense that question is asked in. Second is you use the starters, and I gave you the list of the starters that you can use for different other options, like sometimes opinion, sometimes you're telling a story, or sometimes you're telling your like simply liking and disliking. What can be used? So I've given you plenty of the options. I guess those are enough. And thereafter we have these ones, like how to go beyond that. So after starting the question, what we have to say in the answer, you have to paraphrase the question, and then use the intensifiers before the adjective when we are using the adjective to explain our answer, if we are really having an answer. So if we have the answer, then we have given the answer. So then after giving the answer, there is something that you need to add. Obviously, always consider that there is an explanation from your end itself. Think like there is an explanation asked, but not in the first part, let me tell you, but in many of the questions when we are giving any examination or giving an interview or going for any kind of discussion with the people or the group discussions or something, then definitely give the reasons for that, like why you think what you think, why you think what you think. So explanation, then that means your reason, why and how. So give a reason or explanation to support your answer. That's very important, let me tell you. Giving your opinion is good, but why your opinion really matters to you, or why you think that reading is really good for you. But we will see that in culmination altogether, we will see that later on. But here you can see that because reading helps me, because reading assists me, because reading gives me relaxation. If we say gives me, then relax. Now you see, I hope my mic is working. And then thereafter we're gonna see that yeah, because reading helps me relax after a long day. Okay, and it also provides it also improves my knowledge. That the whole statement is because reading helps me relax after a long day, and I use again a connector and to make it a compound statement, and it also improves my knowledge. So it also improves my knowledge, alongside it helps me to relax for a long day and then improves my knowledge. That's the answer. And then thereafter we can provide any example or illustration. Sorry for that. Give me a second. Example. Yeah, you see, then there is a small detail and personal story or example. Anything can work. For instance, last month I finished a motivational book called Atomic Habits, and it inspired me to make small changes in my life. So that's how you kept on along with the concept. You need not to start any another topic or any other topic. Just stick with the topic and say something related to the topic. And the person chose the real example. And actually, it is my example. I finished a motivational book quite a while ago, but that was the thing that I kept in my mind, and I wrote the example accordingly. That, for instance, last month I finished a motivational book called Atomic Habit, and it inspired me to make small changes in my daily life or daily chores or something like that. So put together, when we are putting together the whole answer, how it would be? Well, to be honest, yes, I really enjoy reading books because they help me relax after a long day and expand my knowledge as well. I really like that thing about it. And for instance, if I would have to give you an illustration, I recently read Atomic Habits, and it truly motivated me to improve my daily routine. Then when you are actually, this is for the short answers. This is for the short answer, let me tell you. But when you are giving the long answers, then how you need to go about it? You need to just keep it in mind. Like, this is very simple structure that you have to keep. Sorry for that. When you are actually connecting the one idea to the other one, like for example, you are giving your first idea. When you said firstly, to be honest, or first of all, I would like to say this. When you have said that, then obviously the second idea can come, and within those three of the lapses, then you can use some connectors. You can use some examples. You can use some illustrations. That's up to you. Then, for example, you're talking about some adversative ideas, or the ideas which are opposite to each other. Then you can use this one on the one hand, and on the other hand. On the one hand, this is there and that is there. You can plus them again. First of all, no, sorry. On the first, on the one hand, riding the bike is really important, and also it helps to improve your leg strength. However, on the other hand, or you can say that however or on the other hand, it actually takes you a lot of time. I would say that it takes you a lot of time to reach to your destination. For example, you want to go to your workplace. For 1 day or 2 days, it is fine. For a regular basis, if you want to go for the workplace and it is a distant place, it will be very tough for you, and you will be exhausted to reach to your workplace and come back from that, and you won't be able to work very hard. Then thereafter, What I mean is, so then thereafter for the longer answer, you can add further. That means to say, firstly, secondly, thirdly. That depends upon like you want to have a structure. I always have a structure. I mean to say that, like whenever you're answering your question, you need to have a proper structure. So, for example, to illustrate or something like that. Now, think of a mini sandwich. Okay, mini sandwich. We have always one example to make you understand easier. One is bread top. What is a bread top? Yeah, starter phrase. That your starter phrase would be well, actually, or to be honest, or any kind of starter. Okay, and then you have the filling in that one. Oh my god, mouth watering. Okay, then answer, reason, and example. You're gonna get your answer, reason, and example. Your answer would be there, and the reason for your answer, and an example for your answer. That's it. And thereafter, the bread bottom. Then you will have your closing remarks. So that's why that's basically how I feel about it. That's the ending remark. So in the end, I would say it's really a good experience. If you're talking about an experience, it was really a good experience. So something like that you can use. Okay. Now, I hope after this you have understood the process of answering your question, and you would be able to answer any kind of question that comes your way. And even if you don't have the answer, I've given you the option that how you need to go about it and how you need to get some time or buy some time. You know, you don't have to go to the market to buy. Have to go to any grocery store. It's there itself. You need to understand. That's it. Have a good one. Take care.